So I'm going to read the prologue, and the prologue of my book is from the vantage point of the witness to the crime. And spoiler alert, it's not a human. 1-7 had never ventured out of the building this far, and he was becoming increasingly worried that the man with the kind eyes who'd woken him from a deep sleep was doing something that wasn't exactly okay. So his body did what it always did when he was nervous and froze up. He snuck a look up at the man with the kind eyes again, trying to understand why he kept muttering to himself and why he seemed so frantic. Usually, he just held 1-7 and gave him treats, and that was great, but today was different. He sure hoped the man knew what he was doing, because now he was making 1-7 sort of scared, very scared. The man had visited 1-7 and his relatives with that other man, and 1-7 had grown somewhat fond of him, mainly because he brought treats, but also because he was gentle, very gentle. But he didn't like that other man. He was cold, like most of the humans he'd known. But the man with the kind eyes seemed to want to be his friend, so 1-7 sort of looked forward to his visits, but today was different. The man with the kind eyes seemed very different. He was running now, and it suddenly got a lot darker. Of course 1-7 could see just fine, probably a lot better than the man could. And once again, he sure hoped the man with the kind eyes knew what he was doing. Suddenly the man stopped and gasped. He didn't move a muscle for a very long time, so 1-7, who had remained frozen for what seemed like an eternity, looked up at him and followed his gaze. 1-7 wasn't sure, but he thought he saw something running out of the corner of his eye, but it was the human lying there sleeping that caught his attention. Apparently, the man with the kind eyes didn't like this one bit, because he went to the human sleeping, and he began to cry and mutter even louder. And 1-7 didn't know what he was saying, but he could tell it had nothing to do with treats. And now something smelled funny. When 1-7 looked closer, he noticed that there was a lot of black stuff coming out of the human sleeping on the ground. He'd smelled that black stuff before and seen it a few times when humans had hurt one of them. 1-7 knew the black stuff was a bad sign, and he decided that the time to move was now. So when the man with the kind eyes touched the human on the ground, he saw his chance and took it. He pushed off with his strong hind legs and virtually flew out of the man's hand. Wow, he thought as he sprang toward freedom. This feels fantastic. And he never looked back. He set off towards green bushes that didn't look green, toward a place they couldn't catch him, toward a new life. He set off toward the light.
There's kind of like a